Hi there, I'm coming to you from inside my silent recording booth in my house because I've got construction going on in my house. I've got saws, hammering. I'm getting my bathtub installed finally. Now I can move out of this house and go to my next destination. So in the hot tub today, this came through, and this is huge. I've been using language that is the best language they can give me, but I've been given new language that I believe is going to help you understand what you are doing. What you are saying and what you are doing are kind of in conflict in a huge way. Okay, I posted this before, but I posted it as the original. I want you to see what it says now. You're not wrong. You're lying. You've been lying your entire life. And I'll tell you why, because I lied my entire life. When I said I do to Craig, back in 100 years ago, I knew I didn't, but I knew I had to. I do with you for the rest of my born days on this planet was bullshit. I knew I needed him at that moment for my next step. All right, this is going to be everything. It's a short video, but I want you to think about this. My nearby friend, his family story has been something I had to experience for this information to come out. The grandson cheated on his wife, got a girl pregnant. Now they have a third kid. She left him, took her too. The third kid has been disposed of. That's all you need to know. It doesn't exist anymore. So here is my problem with you. And it'll be your problem with you when you realize why it's a problem. They had a little boy next door who was 6 years old. And I had one conversation with him once, and it was very adult. I laughed the other day when I realized if I had children around me, I could not dumb it down to be, I couldn't speak at their level as we try to do. I mean, seriously, it's like if kids were near me, I would speak about what is. And it dawned on me that I cannot tell a lie. I can't lie. I can't sugarcoat. I can't make it easy for your sensitive ears. So I speak the truth. That little boy, he heard something from me because I said it as an adult, and he was like, ugh. And it changed his world. Basically, he will never again scream like a little girl, ever. Speak to people as an adult, no matter how old they are, because they are spirit using a costume, and they can hear at an adult level at infancy. So don't dumb it down to something they can understand. So what is the problem? And this is every single one of you, this is you. Especially if you've ever said I do. First of all, you romanticize the whole child thing. You've done it. You saw you were a child and you had parents and you thought, oh, this is it. And so you get married, you have a baby, and it's like, oh shit, this is work, and I can't take a shower. I'm pitting out. I haven't taken a nap in days. I can't eat anything. You realize it's a joke. Having a kid, it's like, it sounds so good. You've got your timelines, and it's a joke because once you get there, it's like, oh my God, this is just work, and I hate them. So the guy next door, he slept with another woman when he was married to somebody who he said, I do, I will forever. He lied. Every single one of you who has been in a relationship, in a family, you're liars. How many of you can tell your mother the truth about who you are, about what drives you? Who can do that? How many of you can go to your mom and say, you know what, Mom? I know I need to become 12 years old when I step into your house, but from now on, I'm going to let you know who I am. And that's when you will no longer be accepted by your mother. And you know that. That's why my children aren't speaking to me. No shit, Sherlock. They have to be 12. And when they become 34, you don't want them in your life anymore because you like to tell them what is. So the guy said I do to his wife, and then he cheated. You use those words. There's no such thing as cheating because we're not supposed to be married for life. We're not supposed to do anything for life. So why didn't he, when he knew he was going to take his man wing out, why didn't he go to the woman and say, I need to go sport around with my man wing, and just end it? She could deal with it. She would move on with her 2 children. He would take his new one, whatever. But if he told her before he started doing this and spoke the truth, then it would not ever have gone bad. It couldn't go bad. But instead, he just does it and it bites him in the ass. So if you're standing there at the altar and you're looking at that person, and you guys all get cold feet, many of you run at the altar at that point. You're looking at them and you're like, a million things are going through your mind on, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do this, I don't want to do this. I do. Yes, presenting Mr. and Mrs. I take his name and I become somebody else's reality. I'm no longer who I am. All of this is going to end because we're lying. You say I do when you don't. You don't tell your mother who you are. You can't be who you are around your friends. And that's why if or when I ever have a retreat, you will not come with another human being because you will not be honest. You can't say that thing about that thing in front of them. So you're not honest, you're lying. You're lying. I can't lie. And so when I have a conversation with you, I'm too harsh for you because I can't lie. But you're sugarcoating, you're lying about everything. And you guys, you got to stop it. Start living from your truth. When somebody says, hey, let's go do that. And you're like, oh, shit. Don't say okay and hate it. Say one moment. Pause and think, okay, how do I feel? How do I feel here? How do I feel in here? And then say, you know what? It feels off for me, so I'm going to decline. And that person that you're talking to, if they don't say, bless you for honoring your truth, get rid of them. You don't need them in your life. You don't want people who will not allow you to honor who you are. So one last thing before I close out this video, and this was huge. In the book, I'm talking about how we are not to be family. We are not to say I do. We're supposed to hump and run, hump and run, hump and run, have fun, but become who we are. When I gave birth to my child, which was not at all normal, it was 6 weeks early. It was an emergency C-section, the size about that big, because she was 3.5 pounds. I was under drugs that kept I was very numb, very feeling less as far as the body, so they didn't want me to have a stroke. So when they took me up to the room with my wheelchair and put me down in a chair and handed me this child that was attached to all these cords because of her heart disease and all this stuff, and she's just little, they handed me this thing and I held it and I'm like, that's kind of cute. It's like a little wrinkly. It's kind of little. All right, I'm done. And I handed it back. Yes, I was on all kinds of medication, but I have been me my entire life. And at that moment, I felt absolutely no connection to that little thing that I just had in my hands. Meanwhile, he's like, I'm a daddy. I'm gonna pay for this thing. I'm gonna give this thing everything. And I literally felt nothing, but I gave that thing the best 18 years, made it strong, made it tough, and then had to hand it over to daddy for the next 4. And then that's where the story ended. But I cannot lie. So I had a baby that came out of me in my hands. And I looked at it, and the drugs weren't speaking. I knew that thing was a soul that climbed into a skin bag to experience life. And it did. It came through me, and I was ready to let it fly, give it wings, and let it go find itself. And it will. It will. We all do. You just need to speak the truth. Start with yourself, because you're lying to you first. Do you really want to marry that man? Do you really want to be with that woman? Do you really want to do this for the rest of your life? Do you realize how long life is? There's not one thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Nothing. Stop lying. Speak the truth and watch how quickly you become who you are.